Hi, my name is Kevin Brookhart with the service training team in New Holland, Pennsylvania. I'm going to show you how to download software to a ISM indirect injected engine controller. Before we get started, please make sure that you are using the DPA5 protocol adapter for communication and that it is hooked up to your machine. Make sure that the key is on and that your laptop is plugged in and charging. You can ensure that your laptop is charging by looking at the lower right corner battery indicator. In order to open up the ISM Shibara program, you are able to do this through the EST program, but I'm going to show you a shortcut. Go to your Start button, go to All Programs, and you may have to scroll a little bit, but you're going to look for the folder that says IHI. So click on that folder, click on 2014A, and right here by this red icon you'll see the 2014A IHA Shibara Electronic Service Tool. So go ahead and click that. It's going to take a few seconds for the program to begin communicating with the machine. Now you can see one ECM has been detected. Okay, we are connected to the machine. The program is opened, and you can tell that we are communicating by seeing that the ECM information has been shown. Now, the important piece of information that we're looking at before we begin programming is the software group part number. Before you begin the download, you want to write this number down because when you go in to choose the new software file, this is the reference number for how you decipher which file to choose. So make sure you record this before you begin the download. And from here, what we're going to do is find the configurations menu. And you want to go to the service drop-down menu and then find copy configuration and click ECM replacement. It says that no data is available. This is a little misleading. You do want to load from the ECM now. So I'm going to click yes. And this is pulling the configuration data from the engine controller into your laptop so that you're able to view it. And it gives us a timestamp for the date and time that we are doing this. And what you're going to do with this information is save it to your computer. So you want to come down and click Save to File. Now, when you click Save to File, it will default to saving this information within the EST program itself. You can do that, but sometimes it's harder to find, in my opinion, especially if you need to share this with Assist or keep it on record. So what I like to do is click on my libraries right here and go into Documents. You'll have to double click that. And in the Documents folder, you could create your own folder for ISM. I've already done that, as you can see. And you can keep the file name that it chooses, or you could give it your own file name. So I'm going to do that right now. I'll simply call it ECM configurations for a Boomer 41. That's the unit that I'm working on today. And I'll click Save. Now we see that the data has been saved successfully. And just as a confirmation that it has been saved, I'm going to go to my folders here and verify that that file has been saved. So I went into Documents, go to the ISM folder, and right there I can see my file. You don't need to open it, I just wanted to confirm that it's saved to my computer. So I will minimize that now. All right, from here we're actually able to begin the programming process. So we're going to go to Utilities, drop-down menu, and click WinFlash. It's going to take a couple of seconds for the laptop to set the engine controller up for programming. With this screen open, we're going to come over and click the Browse for a File button. That's this folder button here to the right. Now you'll notice that there's no files listed that are available for programming. You actually have to go into another folder to find this, so you may want to jot a few notes down as I go through this process. We're going to start by going to the computer, click this button right here, and click on the local disk or your C drive. I double-clicked that. And then you may need to scroll down and find the PCST folder. That's right here, so double-click that. Continuing our path, we're going to go down to the ISM engine. Make sure you choose the right one here, as there are two folders. It's going to be the ISM engine. I double-clicked that folder. And finally, you're going to choose the ISM IDI engine software folder. Double-click that folder. And here we have a list of software that's available for all 6 versions of the engine that we're currently working on. And in this screen, if you remember at the beginning of the video, I referenced the ECM software part number. That is going to be this first series of numbers right here. So the number that I had on this machine is going to match this file right here. Now, if you did not write that number down, what you're able to do is a small calculation, convert the kilowatts to horsepower. And then you're going to be able to match that horsepower to the tractor or skid steer that you're working on. So these 4 softwares here are for compact tractors, and the 2 at the bottom are going to be for skid steers. So again, it's very, very important that you choose the correct software in this menu. So I'm going to double click this. And at this time, we are now able to begin the actual download to the engine controller. So I will begin Flash. Now, during this process, be patient. It might take a couple of minutes for this software to download. It's not uncommon to take a couple of minutes. Okay, we have a pop-up telling us that the flash has been completed successfully, and it gives you 3 options here. You can return to the service tool, you can return to the Win Flash menu, or exit. At this time, I'm going to return to the ISM service tool. Okay, we are not quite done yet. Now that we are back to the main menu, you can go back to the Service tab, copy configuration, and click ECM replacement. And click cancel when it gives you this pop-up screen. And again, it tells us no data is available. At this time, I'm going to load the information from the ECM. What we're doing is confirming that the configuration data that was previously in the controller was not lost. So now we can see it gives us another timestamp. We click OK, and this should be the same configuration data that we had before we started this process. Now, there's a few different scenarios here. Number one, if you were replacing the ECM, in other words, you're putting a new ECM on the machine, before you disconnect the old ECM, you want to come in and get this configuration data. So you save it to the computer. We've already done that. And after you've plugged the new ECM in and you've put software in it, that's when you would come in here and take that file from your laptop and put it into the controller. So again, for ECM replacement, I'm going to demonstrate how to take the configuration data from the laptop back into the engine controller. What we need to do, come into the configuration screen where we're already at and click the button that says Load from File. I do not wish to save the data I currently have up. And at this time, you want to go find that folder, the ISM folder that we made that was in the documents library. And you want to open up the file that you had saved previously. So I'm going to double click that file. And it gives us the timestamp that it was loaded from. And from here, we are now going to click the Program ECM button. And we're just going to click Yes to continue. Now we are taking the file that we previously saved and inserting it into the engine ECM. Programming is complete. We'll click OK. Now that the configurations have finished downloading to the controller, I'm going to go back to the ECM summary. Now that we're back at the ECM summary page, if you look at the software group part number, you're going to see that we have the same number that we started with, so that we know we have the same file in that belongs in the ECM. And now that we've confirmed that, I'm just going to close the program. After the program has closed, make sure you start and run the engine to ensure that it is operating correctly. And this concludes how to download software to a ISM indirect injected engine controller.